What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Netflix new documentary series Homicide, New York. Let's rock this. Hell yeah, the legendary Dick Wolf who gave us the Law and Order franchise is at it again, folks. And of course you can expect great quality because great quality is the only language that Dick Wolf speaks. This time, however, it's not a scripted narrative show. This is a documentary series and one that I highly recommend because Homicide New York is bone-chilling, nail-biting, suspenseful, and it has all the ingredients that make it a riveting, investigative, true crime thriller. On top of which, this show aims to highlight actual decent law enforcement. Look, I know that the cops have been getting bad reputation lately, understandably so, with Derek Chauvin and the likes of those other racist bastards, not to mention Baltimore PD covering up their corruption, and you've also heard examples of dirty cops that are paid just to protect properties and the elites. Shame on them, honestly. But not all of them are bad apples out there, so what I'm getting at is, Homicide New York focuses on the actual decent cops who actually believe in their jobs. These are cops who actually believe in protecting and serving the residents and in bringing the criminals to justice. Their dedication and their commitment and their determination through these challenges are at the heart of Homicide New York. The creator of Law and Order, Dick Wolf, his team at Wolf Entertainment and Alfred Street Industries bring to life 5 of New York's most notorious murder cases by following the detectives and the prosecutors that cracked them. Homicide is a new docu-series that illuminates the stories of notorious murder cases as told by the people who know them best, the detectives and the prosecutors who solved them. Hey, please click the join button below to become Rama Screen members. By doing so, you will help support this channel. And you'll also get lots of perks, including my out of the theater reactions. So click on the link below to join Rama Screen membership today. So yeah, this is actually the start of a new TV franchise, meaning, yes, there's gonna be Homicide Los Angeles premiering later this year. And who knows which other city will be the next installment. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And having watched these 5 episodes, I can tell you that this new franchise starts off very promising. Now, the cases presented on these 5 episodes are devastating. Devastating! The details and the specifics of these murders are gruesome. It goes without saying that Homicide New York is not for the younger audiences, and it's definitely not for the easily squeamish. And if this show can be emotionally draining and it can take a lot out of us, the audiences, just by watching them, imagine how much heavier the toll it must have taken on the police and the detectives that were handling these cases at that time. And speaking of whom, kudos to them. 1,000 credits to those officers for giving us a window into their world by recollecting those awful images in their heads as if they just happened yesterday. Most of these cases took place a couple of decades ago. Some of them went back into the 90s, and they narrowed down the logistics to just Manhattan North and Manhattan South. Sometimes it would go to the outskirts as well, but I like the way that this documentary kinda educates us about jurisdictions and which detectives are in charge of which areas and when can there be instances of overlap if need be. So I appreciate the informative enlightenment, if you will. There would be times when I was watching it where I would go, oh, so that's how it works. Now I know. Very interesting. Many of the talking heads featured on this docu are retired now. They are enjoying their retirement. They're looking back, so to speak. They're sharing their past with us. And the documentary takes us straight to the crime scenes. Speaking of which, the reenactments are fascinating because they are not necessarily a full-blown visible dramatization. It's all set up in a way that looks like you're walking through a blurry, grainy, hazy dreamscape or memory. But the cops' vivid descriptions and the photos of the crime scenes are immensely palpable and gritty and disturbing. You'll have a newfound respect for their job, fully knowing that you and I will never be able to compartmentalize and suppress our sorrow and anger and frustration as well as they do. Out of the five, the episode that sticks with me because it's incredibly soul crushing is the episode about that one janitor lady who disappeared in that one building. For much of that episode, it felt like even Sherlock Holmes could not figure out that mystery. But the outcome leaves you feeling defeated, even after they've captured the guy, because you're wondering, whoa, that lady was just a working class person, minding her own business, trying to pay the bills, and she had a family who depended on her minimum wage. It goes to show that such an unfortunate, unexpected, undeserved fate could happen to anybody. The serial killer episode at the end will give you goosebumps. It's the scariest episode of them all. That dude was basically a walking demon, victimizing young girls, and your heart just falls to the floor upon hearing the why and the how, and also the agonizing cries of the family members. And the selections of these five cases are no accident, because they allow for the filmmakers to stitch them together in a way that would eventually come full circle, especially with the illustration of the subway timeline, connecting the years and the cops together in one shared justice-driven duty. So yeah, overall I give Homicide New York the rating of 5 out of 5. Dick Wolf has done it again. You know how Law and Order TV writers often use inspirations from real events and real cases for the stories on that show? Well, it doesn't get more real than what I've watched on this documentary. I tell you this much, Homicide New York will go down as one of the best, most addictive true crime docus this year. Hands down.